musical turned feature film Rock of Ages that has a huge cast including Tom Cruise, Julianne Howe, Russell Brand, Alec Baldwin, Paul Giamatti, Malin Ackerman, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and a bunch of other people that are wasted in this movie. I was actually kind of semi-looking forward to a Rock of Ages, and I always say I was kind of looking forward to it because I saw the play on Broadway, and the play was awesome. I usually hate musicals. It's probably my least favorite genre besides like maybe romantic comedy. But the music was awesome. I'm a huge fan of 80s rock. It's probably my favorite type of music. It's the type of music I listen to. It's the type of music I play. So the play was awesome. It was funny, and it's probably my favorite play that I've seen. The trailers for the movie, however, didn't really impress me all that much, but the cast was big, and the source material was good, but the movie turned out to be completely freaking awful. The movie is about Julianne Howe and this other kid named Diego Boneta, I think. And Julianne Howe moves to Hollywood from Oklahoma, and the plot is super basic. They fall in love, and then they kind of go through ups and downs while this rock stuff run by Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand. They have this club called the Bourbon is almost out of business, and then Tom Cruise character Stacey Jacks, who's like the biggest rock star, is going to perform and help save it. The plot's super generic, and the movie's super generic, and nothing really works in this whole film, except for Tom Cruise, who I'll get to later. But the movie just fails on so many levels. Like, none of the characters you really care for. I mean, the two main leads are really, really lame. Julianne Howe, who's nice to look at, has an annoying voice. Diego Boneta, he's okay, but he's kind of bland. And the thing about musicals that I really hate is, like, they start singing in random these spots, and when it's over, people just go back to their everyday, lives, not even noticing the fact that they were just taking place in a musical, and that always makes the scene awkward for me. Like, there's never a smooth transition in the movie from musical to just movie. And the movie starts off with Julianne Howe on a tour bus going into Oklahoma. She starts singing Sister Christian by Night Ranger. Then everyone on the bus starts singing. I thought it was a dream sequence. It was so bad. It was just so awkward, and it's just a terrible way to start the movie. I didn't like the songs that they picked all that much. I mean, they were just kind of the standards 80s power ballads, and they had a couple good songs in there, like Any Way You Want It, stuff like that. But I just felt like they kind of went through, they picked some songs out of a hat and just like, oh, let's throw this in here, just this 80s kind of cheese factor. Catherine Zeta-Jones is terrible. She's good looking for her age, but she just plays it way too over the top. And you could tell, because the whole movie's over the top, but she's like totally out there. I mean, she's just trying way too hard. And Bryan Cranston plays her husband, who's like running for mayor. She's trying to shut down the strip. Bryan Cranston's in it for literally 3 scenes. I don't know why or who devil dragged him into this movie. The devil dragged him in here because he was in there for 2 scenes, and one of them he got spanked by someone, and it was painful to watch. I was literally squirming. Russell Brand and Alec Baldwin's characters, though, there's a reveal like 50 minutes into the movie that made me just go, fuck you, movie. Really? Like, this is the only reason why the characters are in this movie. I'm not going to say what it is, even though I should tell you just so you could skip this movie. But there's after the reveal, they do this song about their reveal, and it was the most painful thing ever. I mean, it was really awful. It was probably the worst part of the movie, and from there on, the movie just went into assness. The only redeemable part of this movie is Tom Cruise as Stacey Jacks. He's over the top, but at least he's fun. He's entertaining to watch. He has the most charisma. Whenever he's on, the movie gets somewhat decent. Even Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti is not even good in the movie. He plays the same character he always plays. He plays like Tom Cruise's sleazy manager. And he's bad. No one is good in the movie except for him. The movie is boring. It's like almost 2.5 hours long, or at least it felt like it. They have so many subplots that they never ever finish any. Like the one with the mayor. There's a thing in the movie where like the mayor is having an affair, but Catherine Zeta-Jones doesn't know about it. That's never resolved in the movie. That's like 2 scenes, and that's never resolved. It was the most pointless thing I've ever seen. It was like, why did you have this? The whole thing with Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand subplot was stupid. Was the worst part of the movie and took like a musical number that could have been cut from the movie. The movie is just terrible. It's one of the worst. This and Joyful Noise or both musicals and probably tied for my least favorite. I don't know, Ghost Rider was terrible too, but two musicals. I wouldn't say it's as bad as Joyful Noise, but I'm the one that should love this movie because I love the play, I love 80s rock, and I just couldn't stand it. I didn't like any of the stories. It was super cliche, and most cliche, predictable thing ever. I could even predict jokes. Most of the jokes in this movie, which aren't funny all the way, you could predict. I just didn't like it, and most people seem to not like it either because it's cheesy and they know it, but it's not even good cheesy. It's just crap. I didn't like any of the musical numbers. All the actors are bland except for Tom Cruise. Directing is lazy and sloppy. The movie is overly long, too many subplots, and I just couldn't stand it. I'm going to give Rock of Ages 1 star out of 5. Definitely in the top 3 worst of the year. Do not see it even if you're an 80s fan of rock, because I am, and I hated it. So, just please don't see it. It's a terrible movie. See you guys next time for my review of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And see you guys later, and please comment, rate, and subscribe.